Hello and welcome to another episode of Blue Alpine TV. In today's episode, which will be a bit of a special episode, we will talk about a quick way to research cryptos. So we will show you a bit of what we're doing at Blue Alpine Research, and if you really want a quick way in researching a cryptocurrency, this is a suggested way. So let's jump right in. We have here what to look out for. So there are a couple of things that we look out for when we do deep research. One of those 4 points are mentioned here. We go a bit deeper in our research on bluealpineresearch.com. However, if you need to do a quick research on certain currencies, these are the things we are looking out for. So general topics will let you know what exactly this means. A certain amount of professionalism, community, social, and a checklist and of questions that you can answer at the end. And at the end, we'll actually show you a 6x6 method that we apply for quickly researching cryptocurrencies. So what are the general topics? General topics include team, advisors, investors, technology, product, roadmap, partnerships, news, ease of use, and availability. Generally, when you want to invest into a cryptocurrency project, especially when you want to invest long-term and if you believe in the technology, it all starts with the team. So you really want to understand where are the people that are behind this project coming from? What are their backgrounds? What are their track records? What are their interests? Have they worked on projects like these before? For example, the Omise Go project. The Omise Go project has been, I think the ICO was in 2017 in summer. However, Omise, the company, was a payment processor before, I think 3 years before that already, and already processes a lot of financial transactions in Asia. So they already have the expertise of running a financial company. That already gives you a good sign of the future outlook when it comes to the parts of the team. Then, of course, next to the founders, you want to look at generally the team. Does the team have certain amount of development expertise? Are there engineers, designers, marketing experts, all these people working together in a fashion that makes sense? So obviously, if you're looking at a blockchain technology project, you shouldn't see too many non-technical people in the team. You want to see a lot of engineers with interesting backgrounds and previous interesting jobs as well, so they can really, let's say, if you want to have a cryptocurrency project that needs to scale, you want to have engineers that have worked with projects that have scaled before. And this is one of the parts that we look at when it comes to the team. Now, the next point, advisors, investors. Who else believes into to the team? So who believes in this team? Who believes in this project? All of these things, which is can be quickly looked at when you look at advisors and investors. Investors is on one side, obviously, investors try to spread into multiple companies, so they might invest into a lot of different companies without actually having the kind of stake or skin in the game. Advisors are more in a position where they can really, where you can leverage an advisor's network to make the project successful. So I would value advisors a bit more than an investor. However, I think both play a very important role. If you have a cryptocurrency project and one of the biggest crypto funds or cryptocurrency funds has backed you with investment, that is a very good sign that other people believe in the vision that you believe in as well. Then next up, one easily just as important as team, technology, and product. I would even put more value on the technology than on the product, because the product side is still super early. So what you really want to see here is what kind of technology are they using, what kind of interesting innovation is coming out of this project, and depending on that you will make your bets. So is this something that could really, let's say, dethrone a Visa or a MasterCard when it comes to payments? Is this something that could really turn the banking system on its head, or is it just a peer-to-peer money sending project that has been around in the past before. Now, when it comes to products, you kind of want to see what exactly have they shipped already. So the technology, putting the technology onto paper and releasing a white paper or talking about the technology in theory is easier, but actually putting it into a product, releasing something, making sure the product looks good, is used and has the potential to being used, much more important. So if you can get your hands on the product already, even if it's an early beta, definitely do that. Play around with it. Do you really see something happening? I can give one example. For example, when we looked at Stellar Lumens. So Stellar Lumens already had the wallets out, so you could send money from left to right, and the technology by itself was already very fast. It has close to 0 transactions, and that was really impressive. So we imagined ourselves, for example, down 10 years, 20 years, could we use a technology like this? Could this be like a daily way of sending money and receiving money? And these are all questions you have to ask yourself when you look at technology and product. Now, roadmap ties closely together to product. In the roadmap, you want to see where have they been and where do they want to go. So is the roadmap reflecting the vision, the grand vision of the project that's promised? And also, has the grand vision so far been fulfilled in any kind of way? So have they worked tirelessly on making sure deadlines are being met, or is it just something to sell to investors? These are important questions here. Partnerships and news, also very important, especially the partnerships part is, I think, a bit misused by a lot of projects. So as soon as you have a meeting, you don't have a partnership yet. So I think this is super important and should be kind of an alert for you. If you realize that there has just been a meeting but not an actual partnership, this is a problem, and they announce it as a partnership, that is a real big problem. But if you see there is a partnership, both companies are really invested and interested in building something together, then that's a good sign. Together with that, obviously news. So are they playing the marketing game quite nicely? For example, one who is really good at this out of the crypto world is Elon Musk. So whenever he does a kind of marketing announcement, he packages it up quite nicely. So you get excited about the product, although it's, let's say, 5 years down the road or 3 years down the road. So these are things that you want to look at when it comes to news. Now, next point, ease of use and availability. These kind of go together. You want to see whether, if you really think that this project will be adopted by the mass market, it needs to be easy to use. If you need to go through 1,000 exchanges and need to set up 1,000 tools and applications on your computer to actually be able to send and receive money, maybe that's currently not the best type of project. Now, this still could be a gem in the dust or in the rough. So you really have to differentiate between short term and long term. Obviously, if you believe in the team, but the product is not ready yet, maybe the team is currently working on it and will polish it down the road. So that could mean that the price is quite interesting for you at this stage. However, it could also mean that the product will stay quite complex. The technology will be very difficult to grasp. So that will leave out the mass market adoption in any kind of way. Similarly to this, availability. So where is it all available? Or is it listed on the common exchanges? Is it not listed yet on the common exchanges? Why? All of these things play into the topic of availability. Professionalism. Next point is professionalism. So this is one of the first points you will check out is the website. So what kind of website do they have? Is the website done in a nice way? Is it a lot of buzzwords? Let's say AI, machine learning, bots, all of these things packaged, even blockchain, cryptocurrency, all of these things packaged into one sentence, but doesn't really make a lot of sense? Or is it packaged in a rational and in a way that really makes sense for you? It's easy to make a nice looking website. It's difficult to make a good looking website that's also understandable. So these are the things you will look for. Then communication. How does the founder or the project lead or generally the company communicate towards the outside? How do they communicate on the Twitter channels? How do they communicate on their official press releases, in their live streams? All of these things play an important role, because a certain amount of professionalism is needed if you really want to make it work with these kinds of projects. The other thing is, of course, the white paper. For example, in our research, we dive a bit more into the white paper. I will just quickly mention it here. So the white paper, there have been instances where white papers have been stolen, copied, all of these things. So this is definitely a way to differentiate between a professional company and a not professional company. So have these parts of the white paper been stolen in any way or copied over? All of these things are topics you should look at. Then community and social. So we already mentioned, how do the founders, the developers, the company communicate on Twitter? As Twitter is quite an important and currently one of the main channels when it comes to cryptocurrencies, a lot of people are watching and looking towards Twitter and how the people communicate. Based on that, you can also make some judgment about their professionalism. But this is definitely also a good way, also when you invest in it, to follow them long term in order to really get updated when they have news. The other thing is Reddit. Although Reddit is might be a bit small in certain community aspects when it comes to certain cryptocurrency projects, it is, I think, a very growing and a very strong sign of a community that's growing as well. So if you have on Reddit a lot of positive people, if the developers or the founders are even on Reddit answering questions or helping the people out when it comes to setting up wallets or other things, then this is a really, really good sign. Together with that, Telegram, Discord, or Slack. So most companies nowadays actually have a Telegram account. Some have Slacks. I have also seen Discord accounts as well. They're generally the project leads or the founders or parts of the development team is in there to answer any questions and make announcements and all of these things. So these are things you want to see. If there are 2 people in the Telegram group, maybe they don't really care about the community, and that should give you some pointers. Next up, and this is another, in my opinion, quite important one. So we have the checklist questions. If it needs to be fast, you go through some of these questions, and we'll show you a quick method as well at the end. So checklist questions. First up, what is the problem or transactional inefficiency the coin is trying to solve? So what exactly is the cryptocurrency project doing? It's like, for example, again, in Omise Go's case, for example, remittances or a banking system or gambling, or really trying to make remittances cheaper or make just peer-to-peer cash transfers cheaper, like make it instant or make it faster. All of these things, like really try to think of it from the perspective of the person that has this problem. I think this is always a good way of understanding what exactly they are solving. Now, how big is the market they are targeting? Is it a $1 million type of market? Is it a $100 billion type of market? These are important questions because certain startups will reach quite quickly a certain market size, and once they've reached that, you want to see continuous growth over a couple of years. So you want to be sure that the market is actually big enough that the pie or piece of pie that the company can get is constantly growing, so that you can really continuously invest long term in the project. Who is their competition and what does it do better? Who exactly is the competition? Is it the government? Is it an organization? Is it a company? Is it an individual? And what exactly are they doing better? And more importantly, how is the cryptocurrency project solving this problem and by offering the solution? So you have to really think about the competition as well. Maybe even research the competition. How does the token coin actually derive value for the holder? Is there a staking mechanism or is it transactional? Here we will probably dive into this a bit more in the future. So generally, is it just a utility token? Is it a security token? Is it a platform token? All of these things are quite important, and Does it make additional money while you keep it, for example, for the staking? Or well, let's say in NEO's case, when you hold NEO, you always get gas as well, and gas has a certain US dollar amount equivalent as well. So it's kind of, it throws dividends, and that dividends can make you profit. So all of these questions are important here as well. Can it easily be copied? So is it just something that you have built in an afternoon, or is this really, really deep innovation that goes into the project? These are questions that you really need to be able to answer. Now here, what are the weaknesses or problems with this crypto? Now, this is one of the most important questions, and at the same time, the most difficult questions to answer. Why? Very simple. If you're really hyped up about a certain project, you tend to ignore the weaknesses and or problems of this type of project because you really want to invest in it. So you kind of turn the truth in a way so that it makes sense for you. However, don't ignore this point. It's super important. The next and last part is the 6x6 method. So what we do is collect the team aspects, the checklist, the general topics, and the checklist items, and we apply a 6x6 method. So we look at the team, advisors, technology, roadmap, partnerships, ease of use, availability first. Then we go through those questions. And if we can really answer all of these questions positively, it's a go. Obviously, this is not perfect, and this is not financial advice, so talk to a professional before you're investing any kind of money. But still, this method can give you a quick overview over certain cryptocurrency projects. Obviously, if you want to invest more time and look into a deeper research, you should look up bluealpineresearch.com, where we really dive into all of these topics that I've just mentioned, and we really answer these questions from different perspectives, and we do the research so you don't have to. And with that, I want to end today's today's episode. Don't forget to think about the 6x6 method the next time you hear about the cryptocurrency. Make sure to really try to be objective when it comes to researching these topics and answering those questions. And before you invest, make sure to really look into this. Even if it's just a quick look, it will already give you a huge edge over the rest of the people. And with that, make sure to like this video, share this video, really important. So share this 6x6 method with your friends and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one.